Don't let people hold you hostage to an old version of you.
Hi, my name is Colleen Teofil, and this is Live a Life You Love, the podcast. I am an emotional intelligence coach, and my job here is simple. It is to help you go from simply surviving to thriving by teaching you how to manage your emotions and your thoughts, and then using that information to create momentum in your life. So today we want to continue that conversation about seasons. Last week we talked about making an exit, where we have to be able to recognize when a season of our lives have come to an end. And I know some of you would have at this point realized, oh wow, I have exited a season and I'm about to begin a new one. Now, when you hear new season, there's excitement attached. Yes, brand new. I'm excited to see what this new space holds. Now, we have to admit, with that excitement comes some fear, comes some reservation, which is also very understandable. I get asked often, what are some things you should be mindful of when you're stepping into a new season? And so some of the points that I want to share is going to seem a bit contradictory in terms of a new season, because I'm sure you expect to hear things like hit the ground running and all these different things, while my first point is actually the opposite of that. When you're about to enter a new season, where you have entered a new season, my first piece of advice actually is not to hit the ground running. And here's why I say this. I prefer you walk around and observe a little bit. We take for granted that when we enter a new season, it is new. You've never walked this way before. And even if it seems similar, it is not the same. And so too many people hit the ground running in a new season and get damaged. Because you are running on a road that is unfamiliar. You're meeting people that you've never been exposed to. And so that is why I want you, when you're about to enter a new season, or you have entered a new season, walk around a little bit. You don't know everything that you're up against. And one of the ways that you deal with that is by being observant. We have to learn to live life with our eyes wide open. Look around. What is around you? What is so different in this season from the next? You need to be able to differentiate the two. And so one of the reasons I want you to walk around as well is because some things that you might attempt in a new season might feel like failures, and it isn't. If you hit the ground running, it's going to feel like a failure, versus if you're observing, you're going to realize it's just that because you are now figuring it out and now navigating it, it's just you finding your footing, not failing. Remember, if something is new to you, how you know how to get done? How you gonna? You're not gonna know. And so that is why you have to be able to observe with clarity, recognize that, you know what, I need to give myself a time to adjust. Give myself a limit, or a season, or a moment to adjust to this space. Don't rush that process of adjustment. And so my first advice to somebody who's entering into a new season is don't hit the ground running. Walk around and observe. The second thing is this. This point is super important. And I'm living this particular point right now. And that is, be convinced about your assignment in this new season. Know what you know and stick with it. Know what you're called to in a new season of your life and stick to it. The reason for that is because people are going to make you try to answer to an old version of yourself, especially the old version, the person that you would have been in the previous season of your life, in a previous assignment, in a previous goal that you would have been doing. You have to remember that people and in different circles of our lives or in different spaces, they only know one particular thing about you. They're never going to have the full picture. They don't know who you are in entirety. And so sometimes their only reference point is when you related to them in an old season of your life, when you showed them this particular skill, when they've only seen this aspect of you, not realizing that small view that they saw, there's this wide expanse of who you are. And so you have to be convinced of your assignment, so that if you are in a position where somebody tries to put you back there or box you back in to that old person, you can very clearly say no. You have to be able to say, you know what? I understand that this is the experience of me, but this is not who I am anymore. And so I will be passing that up. So you have to be able to know what your assignment is and stick with it, so that you don't get dragged back into an old season of your life. One of the things I'm learning is that people like broken versions of us. They like lesser versions of us. They like versions where we were seen as a little lower. No, this is not everybody. We have good people. But people who try to drag us back sometimes into a previous season, no, this is one side of it. They sometimes like the lesser version of you. The flip side to that is when somebody has a really great experience of you, they only want that version of you, not realizing that greatness could come from everywhere. It could be multifaceted. I say that correct? Yes, multifaceted. You can be dynamic. So you have on the flip side, they prefer you be the lesser version of yourself, or because they will experience this amazing thing, they don't realize that you can be more. So it is just a matter of understanding in this new season who you need to be. Make sure that you know what it is so that you stay within your space and so that nobody drags you back into a place that you were in before. Don't let people hold you hostage to an old version of you. Do not let people hold you hostage to an old version of you. And so that is the second point. And then the third thing is very simple and is really important. When you're stepping into a new season, please don't isolate yourself. New seasons could sometimes feel very lonely because you are trying to figure out all this newness. Everything is so new. You don't understand everything that is going on, and you are sometimes tempted to withdraw. You're sometimes tempted to be like, oh my gosh, I am doing this all alone. Nobody understands. One of the most sobering things I had to learn is that there's no road that you're going to walk on that is brand new. Every road or every experience, somebody has walked that way before. It might be a new experience or unique to you, but the road itself isn't new. So what does that mean? You have to be willing to allow people to come along your journey with you. You have to be willing to understand that, you know what, there's somebody who's walked this way who can actually help me on this journey. Somebody has lived this season before. Somebody has experienced this before. So I have to be humble enough and open enough to take that guidance, to call them on with me and walk that road with me. But sometimes pride gets in our way. Sometimes shame gets in our way, and we don't allow people to actually be there for us. Now, of course, you be mindful of the people that you bring on board, because you don't want anybody walking that journey. But don't isolate yourself. Isolating yourself could make a new season something more difficult than it needs to be. You have to let people into your space, safe people into your space, people who are trustworthy, people who actually know what they're talking about, because real people could just bump up their gum and don't know what they're actually talking about. So make sure that the people who you're bringing into your space actually understand the season and they didn't fail their season. I've been real transparent from here. It don't make sense taking advice from somebody who failed a season unless they admit they're wrong in a season. Meaning, they say, you know what, because I've done this wrong, I can tell you what right looks like. If the person does that, then absolutely. But not somebody who can't even admit that they do foolishness in that season. That's not who we're talking about. So if it's somebody who's humble enough to say, because I didn't get it right, this is how you do it, let me guide you in the correct direction, no problem with those type of people. But isolation is not what I want you to do. Even if it gets lonely, look around for those safe. It could be one or two people, safe people, to allow into your space. So, new season, we excited. 1, don't hit the floor on it. Walk around and observe. 2, you really need to make sure that you understand your assignment. Know what you're called to and stick to it and be true. Stick to it and be true. And 2, do not isolate yourself. Bring the necessary people on board to walk this journey with you. So I hope that as you're entering into your new season, that you are excited. New seasons are exciting. There's so much character building. There's so much new experiences, so much you get to explore. Just keep these things in mind so that as you navigate this new season, you adjust well so that you can then eventually hit that flow and run hard and do what you're called to do. So I'm Kellyanne Theophil, and this has been Live a Life You Love, the podcast. I will catch you guys soon.